Over to you, Adam. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adam Cunneen, as Ron said. I am the Victorian Government's Commissioner for North Asia, that's Korea and Japan. And I'm delighted to be here this afternoon. Before I talk about Victoria specifically, I just want to make a few comments listening to the room and to put in perspective. Any choice you make to pursue an inquiry in Australia is a good one. Whether it's New South Wales, or whether it's Queensland, or whether it's Victoria or South Australia, Australia is characterised by transparent legal processes, by very low sovereign risk, by active state and federal participation and support for projects, by experience in very large-scale energy, and Korea well knows for its partnership in LNG with Australia. And for the last one, I'd say you need to speak to everyone because there's just not enough. There's not enough blue and green hydrogen on the books now for Korea, let alone for Korea and Japan and Europe and the USA in everyone's aspirations. So every choice in Australia is a good choice for exploration in terms of opportunity. So I encourage you to come and speak to the entire team for Australia. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the minutiae of the Victorian programs. In case you don't know, Victoria is not in Canada, it's in Australia. And you probably know the Australian Open tennis where Melbourne is, for those of you who are not necessarily familiar with Australia. Okay. This is a quick slide about Victorian advantages, and as I said, there are advantages in every state. Victoria has extensive gas networks and a highly skilled gas workforce. It has a range of renewable energy sources, of course, offshore wind, onshore solar. It has world-class education and research institutions. You probably know that Melbourne University and Seoul University roughly rank the same. From a country of only 27 million people, that's a pretty good accomplishment, we think. Has great connected transport networks, has a ready infrastructure for deep water ports. Melbourne is the largest port in the Southern Hemisphere and has diverse and well-connected regions. The Victorian Renewable Hydrogen Industry Development Plan was announced at the end of last year. The plan sets a pathway to establishing a thriving renewable hydrogen industry that will reduce emissions across our industrial, energy and transport sectors, create long-term jobs, supply clean energy, export markets, support strong domestic demand and activate and connect Victoria's regions to achieve a sustainable and integrated hydrogen economy. Some of the headline initiatives. We support several key initiatives to establish the hydrogen economy, and this is our state government looking at state opportunities, but you can tell that we're putting building blocks down for larger projects. Everyone knows Victoria is the place where the hydrogen energy supply chain test with Japan is being carried out. $500 million project, already liquefied hydrogen shipped from Melbourne to Japan, world first. But this is some of the building block stuff. We recently awarded our first renewable hydrogen business grants, $6.6 million to Renewable Hydrogen Commercialisation Pathways Fund to support projects that will use renewable hydrogen in real-world applications, and an additional $600,000 through our Renewable Hydrogen Business Ready Fund to develop business cases and feasibility studies to support opportunities and projects. We're providing further funding to several significant and innovative hydrogen-focused research and development projects, attracting Victoria's internationally renowned universities. And in March this year, we announced the Hume Hydrogen Highway project, which we jointly share with New South Wales. $20 million from the Victorian Government, $20 million from the New South Wales Government. As I said, this is Team Australia you're talking to, in an initiative to join one of Australia's major transport channels and turn it into a working example of hydrogen usage. Okay, so I just mentioned the the Hume Highway project, it will deliver 4 renewable hydrogen refuelling stations and approximately 25 hydrogen-powered trucks along Australia's busiest freight corridor, the Hume Highway. That's the green one on the far side, the Lincoln green one on the far side. We're partnering with the New South Wales Government to deliver the program, and both states have committed $10 million in grant funding to support the program to at least deliver 4 renewable highway stations and 25 hydrogen-powered trucks to use for the network. The intergovernmental relationship on this program is underpinned by an MOU that was executed in December 2021, and both states agreeing to co-fund, co-design and co-deliver the initiative. The MOU covers key projects, governance and funding considerations. Okay, so why are we doing this? The refuelling stations and trucks supported by the program will demonstrate a key zero-emission technology that can support decarbonisation in the hard-to-abate heavy freight sector. And as we move towards our legislated zero emissions target by 2050, this is a key outcome. It's an opportunity that we identified in our policy network to build Victoria's emerging renewable hydrogen economy. And we've been collaborating with our colleagues in other departments throughout the Victorian government and across other industries for the delivery. Compared to some of the other potential uses for renewable hydrogen that may take longer to deliver, fueling heavy vehicles is one of those which is a low-hanging fruit and we can prove quickly as a decarbonising opportunity. Beyond the initial development, we are hoping the Hume Hydrogen Highway will expand into the East Coast renewable hydrogen fueling network, covering the major routes across Victoria and linking New South Wales, Queensland and hopefully South Australia. Okay. Victoria has the right elements for establishing a thriving, sustainable, renewable hydrogen economy, and its capability is spread across the state. Victoria has 6 hubs for hydrogen development and projects. The strengths of each region complement activities across hydrogen value chain and together create a strong ecosystem for hydrogen projects, development and investment. There are opportunities for development of a variety of renewable hydrogen projects in each region due to our extensive gas and electricity infrastructure, population density, plentiful supply of renewable energy and well-established transport, freight and export routes. It's a capital opportunity for investment collaboration. This is where uniquely positioned compared to some of the other jurisdictions, each of Victoria's regions has access to critical components to build hydrogen economy, and that the Victorian government is focused on building domestic demand as well as export capability. We also want to support collaboration across the hydrogen supply chain in our regions, which is why we have co-funded with the National Energy Resources Australia 4 regional hydrogen technology clusters in Geelong, Gippsland, Clayton and the Mallee. These clusters connect hydrogen players from academia, government, industry, startups and each strategic region for a strong hydrogen opportunity. The clusters are facilitating partnerships to drive opportunities to collaborate, attract investment and drive commercial projects. Critically, they are likely to enable future government-supported projects and hydrogen hubs. So there's some of the minutiae, the smaller projects that show that Victoria wants to develop a domestic capability, a domestic demand drive, as well as collaborate with major players for international hydrogen production and export. I encourage you, as I said before, to speak to all of the Australian team. There are opportunities and there's not enough hydrogen. So speak to everyone about it, and we're very happy to talk to you about our existing programs, including the major HESC program, but also new opportunities and new state government funding opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.